Morning, dear student. In previous lecture, we already discussed the classification of amino acid. That is classification based on structure, classification based on their polarity, nutritional value, and the metabolic fate. As well as in the last lecture, we already discussed the important properties of these amino acid. So in this lecture, we discuss the important point regarding to this chapter, that is the structure of the protein. So we all know that the proteins are the polymers and the amino acids are the monomers. So number of amino acids joined together to gives a protein molecule. So proteins are the polymers of L alpha amino acid. So these are the polymers of L alpha amino acid. L alpha amino acid. So we already discussed the difference between capital D and capital L and small d and small l, and these are all alpha amino acid. Means both amino group and these COH groups attached to the same carbon. Therefore, they are considered as a alpha amino acid. The structure of the protein is more complex, which can be divided into four level of organization. So these protein structures are very much complex, so they are classified into four types. First, that is primary structure, and then secondary structure, tertiary, and quaternary structure. So in this lecture we will very much interested in the primary structure of the protein. So let us discuss the first one, that is the primary structure of protein. Primary structure of protein. Primary structure of protein. So this primary structure is nothing but the linear sequence of amino acid forming the backbone of proteins. So what is this primary structure of protein? It is a linear sequence of amino acid, linear sequence of amino acid forming the backbone, forming the backbone, forming the backbone of proteins or protein, forming the backbone of protein, that is your polypeptide. So if you consider the primary structure of the protein, you should remember it is a linear sequence of amino acid forming the backbone of protein. Again, each protein has a unique sequence of amino acid. The primary structure of protein, it is largely responsible for its function. So if you consider the second important point, the primary structure of protein is responsible for the function of protein. It is responsible for the function of protein. Again, the vast majority of genetic diseases are due to the abnormalities in the amino acid sequence of the protein. That is, whatever the genetic diseases or genetic disorder, it is due to the abnormality in the amino acid sequence of the protein. So you should remember that is, it is also an important point, that is the genetic diseases, whatever the genetic diseases, it is due to the abnormalities abnormalities in the amino acid sequence, in the amino acid sequence amino acid sequence of protein, amino acid sequence of protein. Again, if you consider in primary structure of protein, we are very much interested in the peptide bond. So we are very much familiar with this peptide bond. Already we discussed this amino acid and protein in SYVSC. So we are very much familiar with this amino acid, primary structure of protein, secondary structure of protein. So let us discuss the characteristics of this peptide bond. So before discussing the peptide bond, you should remember what is primary structure of the protein. It is nothing but it is a linear sequence of amino acid forming the backbone of protein. Again, the primary structure, it is largely responsible for the function of protein. Whatever the genetic diseases, it is due to the abnormalities in the amino acid sequence of protein. So let us discuss the peptide bond and its characteristics. Peptide bond in primary structure of protein. Peptide bond. Amino acids are held together in protein by covalent peptide bonds or linkage. So whatever the bond which is formed by the overlapping of two amino acid or joining of two amino acid, it is a covalent bond and it is considered as a peptide bond or peptide linkage. So you should remember that is the amino acid linked together. Amino acids link together. Amino acid link together in protein. In protein by covalent bond. By covalent bond or linkage. Again, if you consider these bonds are rather strong and it is served as a cementing material between the individual amino acid. So it is a strong bond and it is serve as or act as a material cementing material cementing material between two individual amino acid, between two individual amino acid, individual amino acid. So whatever the peptide bond which is formed by the overlapping or by the joining of amino acids, this bond act as a cementing material between the individual amino acid. So just like a bricks, so this amino acid, it is your bricks, and whatever the cementing material is there, that is nothing but your peptide bond. So this amino acid act as a bricks, and whatever the cementing material, it is act as a peptide bond in this protein molecule. Again, the next important point is that when the amino group of amino acid combine with carboxylic group of another amino acid, a peptide bond is formed. That is, when the amino group of one amino acid combine with the carboxyl group of another amino acid, then a peptide bond is formed. That is, for a single peptide bond, we require two amino acid molecules. So you should remember or note that a dipeptide will have. So what is the meaning of dipeptide in this case? You should remember this. Sometimes there is a confusion. What is this dipeptide? Dipeptide will have two amino acid. Dipeptide will have two amino acid and one peptide bond. And one peptide bond. So you should remember that is, whenever we consider a dipeptide, means there is a two amino acid and one peptide bond. When you consider tripeptide, then there is a three amino acid and two peptide bond. Again, if you consider a decapeptide, means there is a total 10 amino acid but 9 peptide bond. So you should remember this point. It is very important. The dipeptide will have two amino acid and one peptide bond. So whenever the peptide containing more than 10 amino acid, whenever the peptide containing more than 10 amino acid, then it is considered as a polypeptide. Again, the important point is that whenever this peptide will have, or peptide containing more than 10 amino acid, peptide containing more than 10 amino acid, then they are referred as polypeptide. They are referred as polypeptide. So you should remember. So the amino acid linked together in protein by covalent bond. The strong covalent bond, it is act as a cementing material, or peptide bond, it is act as cementing material between two individual amino acid. Then the dipeptide means there is a two amino acid and one peptide bond. A peptide bond is formed when the amino group of one amino acid join with carboxylic group of another amino acid. So let us discuss some important points regarding to this peptide bond. This peptide bond is rigid and it is planar. If you consider this peptide bond, it is a rigid peptide bond. If you consider its characteristics, it is rigid, then it is planar with partial double bond character. Partial double bond character. Partial double bond character. So you should remember, the peptide bond is rigid, it is planar with partial double bond in character. Means what is the meaning of rigid? So the bond is not rotated because it is planar and it having a partial double bond character. Generally it exists in trans configuration. So whatever the peptide bond is formed in the primary structure of protein, it having a trans configuration. Again, both carbonyl and NH group, both carbonyl and NH group of the peptide bonds are polar. Both C double bond O and NH group of these peptide bonds are polar, and they are involved in hydrogen bond formation. They are involved in hydrogen bond formation. They are involved in hydrogen bond formation. So you should remember, this peptide bond, it is rigid, planar with partial double bond in character. It having trans conformation. Again, it is both the carbonyl and NH groups of the peptide bonds are polar, and hence they are involved. Both are polar and involved in hydrogen bond formation. So if you consider the formation, so conventionally the peptide chain are written with the free amino end at the left hand and the free carboxylic end at the right hand side. So you should remember, that is, whenever we consider a linear sequence or the primary structure of the protein, the peptide chain are written with free amino end at the left hand side and the free carboxylic end at the right hand side. The free amino end, it is called as N-terminal residue, and the free carbonyl end, it is called as C-terminal residue. So whenever there is a sequence of this amino acid in primary structure, so there is a N-terminal to C-terminal. So the linear sequence is from N-terminal to C-terminal amino acid. So N-terminal means the amino group, and the C-terminal means the carboxylate group. Again, if you consider, for formation of peptide bond, we require two amino acid molecule. So this is your amino acid, C double bond O minus is there. Again, another molecule is there, NH3 positive, CH, this is your R2, R group is there, and this is your CO minus is there. So when they are joined with elimination of one water molecule, we get NH3 positive, CH, R1, this is our R1, C double bond O, this is our NH, again this is your CH, R2, C double bond O, and this is your peptide bond, that is C double bond ONH. It is your peptide bond, so it is rigid, so it cannot rotate. Should remember, it is rigid, it is planar, and if you consider, it has a partial double bond character. It has a partial double bond character. And again, both this C double bond O and these NH groups are polar because they involve in hydrogen bond formation. So this is regarding to the primary structure of the protein. Whatever the part which is remain in this primary structure of the protein, we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.